Saquon Barkley's production is trending in the wrong direction over the last 4 games. He's averaging 38 rushing yards per game, G. They've got 3 of their 4 on the road to finish out the season. And those 3 teams, guess what? They all have winning records.
Neat. Lions, in or out of the playoffs?
I want them to be in, but I think the numbers point to them being out. They've been playing much better on defense. The offense has been strong all year, but at some point it's going to come down to Jared Goff, who's been good, has been great in this stretch, but I don't think that he's been a difference maker, and I don't think he will be in the moments that they need him.
They've got the Jets this week in a big game. Kmart, how about Brady's Bucks? Will Tampa be in or out of the playoffs?
Oh, Greeny. Who the hell knows? I don't know. I'm going to say they're in, but really the only reason I can give you is that division. I don't trust the Panthers. I don't trust the Saints. I don't trust any of the teams in that division. So I'm going to say Brady because this season can't fizzle out like this. It just can't, right?
Well, it certainly has so far. They've become the least watchable team in the entire sport. In the meantime, our next stop is Miami, which is another fringe playoff team. The Dolphins need to win in the worst way, and they're going to have to go to the worst place to try and get it, and that is Western New York on Saturday night. It's going to be snowy. It's going to be cold. 27 degrees in Orchard Park, and there may be snow. That's not great news for the Dolphins quarterback. Let me show you some numbers that really matter. Tua, in his career, 0-3 when the kickoff temperature is below 50 degrees. He's never played in a game with freezing conditions. In fact, the 3 worst games of his career by QBR are the 3 games he has played with temperatures below 50. I will remind everyone that not only did he play his college football in the SEC, but he's from Hawaii. And if there's one thing people in Hawaii are not accustomed to, it's freezing cold and snow. No one knows it better than you do, though, Kmart. You basically set up shop in Buffalo so much of the season. Is this going to be the downfall? It's been a magic carpet ride for so much of this year for Tua and the Dolphins, but does it come crashing to a stop Saturday night in the snow?
I won't go so far as saying it will come crashing down. But if you look at the last 2 weeks, they've been concerning for the... Fix your face, Kristen.
I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm listening. I'm just listening.
Just because this is a pivotal game for Tua because, as we just saw on the screen, his numbers are not good in cold weather. And here's the thing. I was just in Buffalo. I was dealing in the elements, and I hate them. And I'm just doing television. I'm not playing football. But you've got a Dolphins offense that is not that has struggled the last 2 weeks. Tyreek Hill has an injury. He's got an ankle injury. And the Bills understand, like, they're building a new stadium without a roof. Why? Because for games like this, they want teams from the outside, especially South Florida, other teams from the South to come into our place. And this is something we have talked about all season. Can a team as good as the Dolphins, or at least we think the Dolphins are, Chris does not, but can they come to Orchard Park and beat the Bills? Not just beat the Bills, beat the elements and the Bills at their own game. And the Bills do not think so. They love that they have that advantage.
And you know, you made a good point this morning that I think that all the fans should hear, which is that a lot of us will think, okay, well, he can't throw the deep ball to Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle in these conditions. But it's not really that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think arm strength is a problem when it comes to the deep ball. Arm strength becomes a problem when you have to deal with the conditions and when you are trying to fit the ball into small windows. I think that's when it matters to be able a strong arm, and that's what Tua has been able to work around, is he's so good and precise with his timing because he doesn't have the arm strength to ever be late. And so it's going to be hard for him because the last couple of weeks, the Chargers specifically have shown that if you press those receivers, that'll throw the timing off just enough that Tua has to stand in the pocket, and then you're asking him to improvise, which is not something that he's done well since he's been in the NFL.
And then making it much worse, Meg, I hate to even do this as a fan of the Jets, but Chris Canty, Tua needs to know what he's up against. Can we show everyone what Buffalo did to the last quarterback who went in there last week?
Man.
Mike White is still folded in half as a consequence of that game. And
Oh, that shit funny, though.
This is another factor here.
That shit funny, though.
Buffalo pass rush. This is that tall.
Oh yeah, they ain't no roughing the passer. They ain't roughing the passer.
Folded in half.
The lawn chair, yes.
In this league, so goddamn crazy.
Got knocked out of that game. AJ Epinesa got him earlier with the ankle. He had to
This
go
is
back to
another
the
thing
locker.
Tua is looking at this weekend, right? There's a lot lined up against the Dolphins, it feels like, Saturday night.
Yeah, that Bills defense is playing with a level of physicality that we hadn't seen in the first couple of months of this season, so they're going to have to contend with that. But they're also going to have to make some adjustments to how defenses are trying to match up against that Dolphins offense. Because what have we seen in the last couple of weeks? Defenses majoring in zone coverages, those second and third level defenders keeping inside leverage and forcing Tua to throw the ball outside of the numbers and down the field. When Tua is in the pocket and he's throwing in the middle of the field between the outside of the numbers, he's got the 17th ranked QBR in football. So that is a huge difference in terms of his level of production and his level of efficiency. And that is the thing that we're going to have to watch for. He struggled against it the last 2 weeks, Gene. There's no doubt in my mind that he's going to see more of it when he goes into Orchard Park on Saturday night.
Let me go back to the schedule here, too. And I'm not suggesting the teams make their own schedules. But when we were talking about, Tua, they haven't lost a game that he started, and he went on that winning streak when he came back. They beat the Steelers, the Lions, the Bears, the Browns, and the Texans. It's not exactly the 27 Yankees that they're going up against there. Has this been a little bit of a mirage in Miami?
I mean, if you were thinking that they were the tip top of the AFC, then maybe you would say it was a little bit mirage. But they've done things that I think are replicable. But part of the problem in the last couple weeks is the defenses they play against have played better. But Tua also has been antsy in the pocket, and I think that speaks to him being kind of an operator of a machine. And when that machine goes a little off kilter,
So-
then he doesn't.
Since they're being biased and only mentioning the weak teams that we play, I'm going to go ahead and mention that the first game of the season, we beat the Patriots. Second game, we beat them sorry-ass Bills. No. Second game, we beat the Ravens. And the third game, we beat them sorry-ass Bills. You think we're not going into their home and taking another dub? Gots to be kidding me.
Know what to do when they can't have success, which is kind of been the issue with them so far.
You know what he's going to face? A Bills team that hears all the chatter about whether they are actually good enough to win the Super Bowl. Can this defense be a Super Bowl winning defense without Von Miller? They just crumpled Mike White. They're going to look to do the same against Tua.
Quick final word.
I will say this. We came into the season thinking that this was going to be a referendum on whether or not Tua could be a franchise guy. If you're a franchise quarterback, you got to be able to win games in the division on the road in December. This is a big test. Can he get it done?
It's been a problem for Miami for a very long time. They play in one climate, and all the rest of the teams in their division play in another, in outdoor stadiums, and they got to find a way to go.
So I'm going to go, and it's definitely a guess, because I don't remember every season series for the last how many years. I'm going to go Michael Vick.
That's right. Oh, that was good. It is Michael Vick. There you go.
Hard man, be back.
It was Michael Vick in 2011 was the last Eagles quarterback to sweep the season series against the Dallas Cowboys. Let's talk about the Cowboys.
All right. Now, this has been an episode of the King's Table podcast. As you can see, the biasness about the Miami Dolphins have arisen again with 2 losses by Tua Tagovailoa, not having the greatest performance of his careers. 2 bad games and the whole world shift their opinions about you. But mine haven't shifted. I still think he's QB1. I still think he's top 3 quarterbacks in the league. And I also feel this week he proves that against everyone beloved favorite Josh Allen once again. Tua's sons Josh Allen, 24-17, Dolphins win. Until the next time, this has been the Fin Tank. Think with greatness.